And I didn't want any one of us to look at him because I thought he just won't know, you know, they're girls.
It's now 5:30 on Monday morning.
Go to the bathroom, have a wash, put on a clean shirt like you normally would. You're going to work now. You know what I mean, don't you?
It must have been because he was so close to me that I then realised that he had a northern accent.
You do exactly as he says.
Man too, I suddenly realised that he had changed his disguise and now he had a very thick blonde wig on and he'd put glasses on. I thought were quite feminine.
The younger man had changed his glasses as part of his new disguise. As Chris drove him to his shop, the older man was keeping watch on the rest of the family.
It was at this point I thought whether I should, you know, try and do something, drive off into a brick wall or through a shop window, try and do something to distract him. But I was so scared for my family at home who were still with the other gunman that I decided just to go along and do what he said.
Get out of the car and open up the shop like you normally do. Don't turn round, I'll be 20 yards behind you. Get on with it. Don't look round. Sweet. It's sweet.
All right. How's your husband? He's down the shop. Keep quiet and don't move.
The road sweeper and the postman often meet in the high street at this time in the morning.
All right, Francis, don't get no warmer. We should be so lucky. I only had a brief glimpse of him. About 5'8", 30 years old, blonde hair, fresh complexion, with a well-trimmed moustache.
You see that? I don't think he's one of ours. Looks suspicious, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Within 10 minutes, the robber had filled his bag and was out of the shop. The car waiting for him was another Sierra. This one was a grey Sapphire.
Hello, can you hear me? I've got handcuffs on. I'm finding it very difficult to speak. I've got a jeweller's shop in Deal, 100 High Street. I'm there at the moment. I don't want the police to go to my home. There are men there with my family. They've been there all night.
Back at home, Monica herself was now able to raise the alarm. Well, David Ross, how is the family now? That was a dreadful ordeal.
Yes, it was. The Howes are extremely traumatised by what took place. They've got young children, as you've seen from the video. They're extremely anxious at night, and at one time Chris Howe said to them, turn lights off at night. Now they leave lights on. They're not sleeping at all well, and indeed the whole family are receiving counselling.
It's going to take a long time to get over something like that.
Yes, it is.
What do these two men look like now? First of all, the older man was loosely disguised as a policeman.
Yes, he was. It's interesting, he has a northern accent as such. Also, he had a distinctive watch, a diver's watch in fact. He's the person that was seen the day before by a witness with a blue Ford Sierra, watching the house and obviously watching Chris Howe's movements.
The second man seemed younger. He was wearing the postman's jacket.
Yes, he was. Again, he had a northern accent, stronger than the first man, and he said a couple of distinctive things. Firstly, he warned Chris Howe when he was at the jewellery shop that he would slug him, which is an unusual thing to say, and also he said, it's sweet, on the phone.
Piercing blue eyes as well, and Chris thought he really did need those glasses. Some very identifiable jewellery was stolen.
Yes, there was, particularly some platinum rings, 2 rings in fact, which only a dozen were made in 1993, which is the date mark on the rings. The hallmarks on the rings is distinctive. It's Rider and Rider, R&R.
Right.
And so these are particularly distinctive.
If you were offered rings like that for sale, that would be absolutely crucial. If you recognise those men, if you can help in any way, you can ring us here in the studio. It's 0500 600 600, or you can ring the incident room direct, and that's 0622 654 999. That's 0622, the code for Maidstone, 654 999.
For the last 4 minutes, all 28 lines here have been jammed. So if you're having difficulty getting through right now, you're getting the engaged tone, please bear with us. Most of the calls are coming on the Karen Hales murder. One name has come up 3 times. Not, of course, conclusive, though. You may remember back in January, we appealed about a headless body found before Christmas under railway arches in Wyre Street, Manchester. 6 weeks later, and 75 miles away, a man walking his dog in Cannock, Staffordshire, came across the head. DNA tests have shown that it belongs definitely to the Manchester body. This is a clay impression of the victim's face, painstakingly reconstructed by the medical artist Richard Neve. Now, do you know who this is? Someone you haven't seen for at least 3 months. He was white, he was aged 35 to 40, of average height and build, about 5'9" and 11 stone. He had dark, wavy hair, cut short. And if you're a dentist or a dental technician, you'd recognise your handiwork. The victim had had extensive treatment to his teeth, 6 crowns and a bridge, a lot of work which would have cost, I don't know, £3,000, I'm told, something like that. If you're a dental technician, take a look at this too. Several crowns were fixed by a bridge made out of Rexillium V, an alloy which is imported from the States. Only 13 laboratories are known to use this technique in Britain, so if the victim's British, someone here must remember making up these crowns. If you think you've got a clue, do please call 0500 600 600 or ring Greater Manchester Police on 061, the code for Manchester, 856 4340. That's 061 856 4340.
Well, one of last month's incident desk cases was sold shortly after the programme. The antique silverware collection stolen from aboard the SS Great Britain in Bristol was returned in a small green sack, all beautifully polished, by 2 Hells Angels. The police are quite sure that the publicity on the programme had everything to do with its return. Well, now with this month's cases, here are Detective Constable Jackie Hames and Superintendent David Hatcher.
For our first case tonight, we'd like you to listen carefully to this conversation.
I want to report, I think there's a burglary going on. Right. At Black Boys. Right. What's the address? I don't know, I'm afraid. It's down near where the club is. By the club? Yes, down the old lane. The bungalow on the left. Can I have your telephone number, please? I'm afraid not, because I'm in the car. In the car? Later, but you want to go, because I saw the 3 men going in there. Okay? Right, you saw 3 men? Yes. Is there any way we can contact you? No. Nothing at all? I'm sorry. I don't want to be involved. I'm old, you see. Right. Are you local?
We believe that was a man with a guilty conscience. The 3-9's call was made after a burglary just outside the village of Black Boys near Uckfield in Sussex. On February the 3rd, a 76-year-old man and his wife were left bound and gagged by 3 men who made off with cash and valuables. The gang also stole the couple's white Rover, which was found abandoned on February the 11th, 25 miles away in Crawley. We believe one of the robbers may have been worried about the victims who were left tied up in an isolated house. We'd like you to listen carefully to that voice once again.
I want to report, I think there's a burglary going on. Right. At Black Boys. Right. What's the address? I don't know, I'm afraid. It's down near where the club is.
So if you recognise that voice, please call Sussex Police on 0444 451 555. That's 0444, the code for Burgess Hill, 451 555.
Our colleagues in London want to talk to these 2 men. They may have information about the murder of a 49-year-old British Rail steward. Basil Wycombe was described by colleagues and friends as a considerate and friendly man. He was gay and often went to bars